In this video, we will show you how to replace your front bumper bracket on the Chevy Silverado. You'll have two of these, one on each side behind your front bumper. Let's get into it. Okay friends, let's get started on our job. Safely make your way underneath the front bumper. If you were to look along either side of the front bumper, it's where you're going to find the bracket. That bumper bracket is held in place with three 15mm headed mounting bolts. You'll find one down low, one directly in front of it, and then the third one's all the way up high. Now for that top one, we're going to have to remove the trim panel that goes across the outside front bumper. To remove that trim panel, you're going to find that you have several squeezable clips that you're going to have to squeeze in towards each other and gently pry out of place. We'll use a trim tool for the prying and some pliers to squeeze those tabs. Along each side of the bumper, you will find that you have four of these locking tabs. One over here. There we are. While holding pressure in this area, we'll continue on down the line. There we are. Now that we've got this side broken free, let's continue on. Now typically you don't have to do the other side of the bumper cover trim panel, assuming you're only doing one side bumper bracket. Once you do have those four locking clips pulled out, you can make your way directly on the outside and you're going to find your 15mm headed mounting bolt. Let's go ahead and remove that. We'll pause out here, make our way back underneath the front bumper. Now from under this area, we can continue on with our next two mounting bolts, starting with this one facing towards the front. We'll be using a 15mm wrench for this. You can use a ratcheting wrench once you break it free. If you find when removing your mounting bolt that the locking nut breaks, this is common. You're going to have to go ahead and cut this and replace the mounting hardware. A quick inspection here, that looks good. Let's continue on to our last mounting bolt. We'll make sure we're holding onto the bracket while we continue. There it is, friend. Now that we have the original bracket out of place, let's swap over the mounting hardware. You'll find that you have two of these J-nuts. One up along the top here, and you should have one down lower on the bracket. We had to cut ours out of place. Just go ahead and remove that. We'll swap it over. Okay, let's get ready to install our brand new front bumper bracket. Starting by swapping over those J-nuts. We want to make sure we have them in the proper positioning here. As for the top one, you want to make sure that you have it so the bolts can come through from the front towards the rear, so we'll have the threaded portion facing towards the rear of the vehicle. Slide that right on there and align that mounting bolt hole. There's one. The process is the exact same thing for the other one. Like I said, ours is missing. We'll get this in position. Like I said, we're going to start in the mounting hardware. We are not going to tighten anything yet. For this one, I'll just be using a nut and a bolt. Got our last piece of mounting hardware. We'll make our way on the outside of the bumper. Once you have all the hardware started in, go ahead and start snugging it up. We'll start right out here. Now we can align the trim panel coming across here. You do remember that we had four locking clips. We'll bring this down, align it, and press it in. Double check to make sure this is completely secured to the bumper, and now we'll make our way safely underneath the front bumper. Now, since I changed out the hardware for this one mounting point, I can continue on to holding the front bolt head, and I'll tighten the nut along the back side. Make sure that's nice and tight. For the last piece of mounting hardware, this is where you're going to make the adjustment for your bumper height. So you want to take a peek out along the outside to ensure the bumper's at the proper height. If you have to raise it, carefully press up, and if you have to lower it, typically you can pull it down a little bit as necessary. Double check to make sure all 3 of your mounting bolts are secured. After that, once again, double check to make sure the bumper height is proper. Continue on to taking your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.